From what I saw from its announcement, Returnal was one of the reasons I wanted a PS5, and I was fortunate to have one by the time of its release. Straying from her mission in pursuit of a mysterious signal, our character Celine finds herself marooned on an alien world after a crash landing. Not only home to hostile life, but it has claimed hers before. The idea of a roguelite seems like the perfect justification for being bound to a loop, especially given the story. Returnal's approach is unique though, in that it doesn't give the impression of one. The design feels crafted, not procedural. Areas are rife with detail, discovery's purpose, everything present. It reminds me of a fusion between Metroid and the series that helped inspire it, Alien. Like Samus, you're investigating the unknown, gradually unraveling its mystery. Each cycle begins with a pistol, no items, no heals. My focus is always a new gun and extending my health bar, or suit integrity, as I dispense with enemies. Each slaying drops currency called obolites that can be used to either fabricate items or improve stats directly. Prices are steep and obolite doling meager. You may afford to craft 1 or 2 per biome, but it's probable you'll be left in want of something. Regardless, gameplay is more about player aggression, and items are more for a slight edge. Successive kills without taking a hit builds adrenaline, a tier buff that can increase obolite drops and the rate of weapon proficiency. And when this second one levels, so do the stats of the weapons you'll discover. Enemies hit hard, so if you're not constantly on the move, you'll likely never see the game's end. Thing is, Returnal seldom makes you doubt that a run is doable, no matter the odds. You can dodge through most enemy fire, and while the primary of the starting pistol may be underpowered, its alternate won't be. From lasers, electricity to a BFG blast, the abilities make the game stand apart, and each weapon has one. The execution here has weight behind it, power, made visceral by the third-person perspective and the need to push. It has a cooldown that can feel eternal in a fight, but when the signal is received that it's ready, that's sweet retaliation. Now, while looking for a gun, I forsake any pistols found, no matter the stats, but I can't say that of the others. Shotguns, rocket launchers, assault rifles. You have third-person staples, but all themed to the sci-fi experience like the gun's more exclusive to it. For instance, the lore of my favorite gun, the Hollow Seeker, resembling a sniper rifle, opens its mouth to fire projectiles through screens. That already sounds cool, but every individual weapon, Hollow Seeker to Hollow Seeker, pistol to pistol, etc., have latent traits to be awakened by kills, so it can also come to open a portal to fire a beam. And a rocket launcher that shoots 3 rockets at once can become automatic, accounting for the fact that ammo is infinite, and when a clip is exhausted, you can actively reload to get through the motions faster. It can feel how it sounds, OP. But like all things rogue, that's if the RNG is on your side. At the start, you get introduced to Malignancy and Parasites. These two have the potential to screw your run. Malignant anything can produce a detriment to gameplay with the condition to clear it, known as a suit malfunction. For instance, one could involve gathering 250 obolites to stop enemies from dropping pools of acid upon death. There is an item that can be found through biomes called Ether, one of the things that remains with you between runs, that can be used to cleanse it beforehand. It's normally what I do, especially when attached to heals. Parasites follow suit in that pro versus con, but these provide both a buff and debuff, but at least gives you a heads up to decide if you want it. Imagine reducing your cooldown, but taking damage from anything you pick up. Parasites I avoid, since I don't often find the trade-off worth it. But that's the thing, anything rogue is about the risk of the reward. You could be more than ready for a boss standing at its door, inside a challenge room on your map, losing it all. And do the same another run, and get a gun that will serve you into the final areas. Question is, are you up to it? Aside from its atmosphere, the game reminds me of Metroid by its upgrades, and how they open things up. One of the most essential you get at the start, the Atrophian Blade, your melee attack, and this does damage. A few enemies put up a shield that it can cut through, and some brutes can be staggered with it, allowing you to exploit the chance for an alternate blast to the face. Other upgrades serve to skip the grind of the biome altogether. There are usually rewards for killing the area boss, and these fights are spectacles. Sometimes you just want to marvel at a pattern, pause to take the moment in, but the run is on the line. If you play Death Stranding, that game has a set piece that is my favorite in all of gaming, and a boss has a face that reminds me of it. It definitely sucks to see a run ended by a boss, but it's part of the rhythm of a roguelite, dying while being well invested, even if you didn't get to the end. I'm sometimes annoyed when it happens, especially by bullshit, wishing I didn't have to retread what could be an hour of ground for a second shot. Returnal opted to make it optional, as certain upgrades allow you to access gateways in the starting area. When you're met on arrival with a weapon calibrator, an item that normally gives a boost to proficiency, but here makes it jump levels, and a recovery vial, an Estus charge if you will, it's hard to resist. With the new area comes new enemies, more elaborate attacks. That's when the game is at its best. Onslaught by enemies in bullet hell, actively reloading while waiting for an alternate. So, Returnal offering a biome skip is more than welcome. Each of its areas are nicely detailed and layered, with the backstory and connection to us. You'll discover scout logs revealing things about Selene, of the world, stuff that can take you by surprise. If you play Remedy's Alan Wake or Control, you'll know what to expect in terms of story, where you'll always question the meaning of things. The first area contains Selene's home, a house that occasionally allows us to enter for first-person sequences. These are experiences out of a horror walking simulator, a subgenre I'm a fan of, with a Steam library representative of the fact. You can die or fail them, they're all about interaction. They'll yield revelations, sometimes leaving me perplexed with details purposely kept out of focus. Even after reading about them, I'm left in wonder. The only negative to these segments is that usually when you're granted entry, you've died several times and are on a warpath. But I don't want to miss these moments, so it could be a detour I wish to rush. There was an update for the game of March of this year, 2022, that allows for co-op online through the main game, which I haven't tried, but the idea of adapting alternate cells for it is cool. However, the update also included a single-player area called the Tower of Sisyphus, which I have. It's an endless mode, having you make your ascent clearing floors of enemies. Weapons, items, and fabricators are thrown left and right, with new things developed specifically for the mode. As you can expect from Returnal's combat, the mode is pure magic. It's the only time I've had the chance to use maxed out weapons, and it is as overkill as it sounds. You even receive a new type of weapon through a consumable. These are without a doubt the most powerful weapons in all of Returnal. Fire any of them, and it's impossible not to be left with a smile. Even so, a mistake remains dire as ever. It's fun, but one aspect about the mode I'm mixed on are bosses that give a permanent malfunction when conquered. From the perspective of preventing someone playing for hours, I understand. But some malfunctions can be damning, making you feel robbed. Some floors also force you to pick a parasite, and in the same way, possibly impairing your playstyle. But as I stated before, Returnal's about aggression, so if I can adapt, I can survive. As a free update, this easily beats paid DLCs, and has brought me back. I did briefly want to touch on the PS5 controller, the DualSense, specifically the adaptive triggers. When the game launched, it seemed everyone lauded its use of them in the game, that they felt revolutionary. Honestly, I didn't understand where they were coming from at first. My initial impression found the tension they make jarring. I'll illustrate it this way. Your triggers have two levels of pressure. Pressing down on L2 has Selene ADS, with the resistance halfway. Press all the way down and it prepares her alternate. It felt unusual, like it was jamming, and others I demoed the game to felt the same. I really disliked it, and used the classic layout for a while, but the idea of an adaptive trigger feature on PS5 compelled me to revert back. I'm glad I did. The versatility it affords gives you two buttons for one. It opens up possibilities for future games on the platform that only rear buttons could achieve otherwise. I wanted to bring it up because as PS5s become more widely available, people may be turned off like I was, that the expectations set by others may not align. Returnal is my favorite exclusive on the PS5 so far, and the one I've gone back to the most. From gameplay to graphics, it's been a showcase for the capabilities of the console and what I can expect from its future. Like other games that have come to be favorites of mine, it experiments with genre conventions, developing its own identity in the process, a look and feel that can't be mistaken for another. When I haven't played the game in a while, the environments, science fiction, and gameplay always brings me back. The story, with its shroud of mystery, plays a role too, even if I don't fully grasp it. When you've played others that have striven to do the same with theirs, but ended up being dismissed instead, that's a rare feat. Returnal has gone on sale several times now, and is currently part of PlayStation Plus's premium and extra tiers. To be able to play one of the games that made me want to get the console in the first place, as a benefit, leaves me amazed. As more people come in possession of the console, this may have more impact. This isn't a game that should go overlooked. It isn't overrated, but deserving of its Game of the Year listings for 2021. Returnal really is that good. Thanks for watching. To think Turbo Overkill is what brought me back to the game this time. I had so much fun with its fast-paced gunplay and its projectile dodging that Returnal seemed like a must-play. There has been rumors circulating about a PC port. It would be a day one purchase, an instant contender for Game of the Year for me. But anyway, I want to thank you all for watching, chiefly if you made it this far. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you have any thoughts, please leave a comment, or if you found potential in me and what I can produce, please subscribe. Once more, thank you all, and have a good one.